Hi and welcome to an Iset deck tech video for the Black Mage Vivi. Some fast Final Fantasy lore for you. This is from Final Fantasy IX, the Black Mage Vivi. Final Fantasy IX, I kinda liked it. It had a medieval theme to it. Final Fantasy VI and VII had a lot of steampunk, not true steampunk, but cyberpunk, steampunk touch to it, where this is more of the middle dark age touch on Final Fantasy IX. Black Mage in Final Fantasy is a damage dealing class. You have a White Mage that are health, like healing and buffing, while Black Mage have fire attack, lightning attack, ice attacks. Anything that does damage is a Black Mage in Final Fantasy. And I have to say that Iset on Vivi is kinda on point, because the entire concept of Black Mage and Vivi inside Final Fantasy IX is very experimental. They are... I'm not gonna spoil anything, but you could say that they are a little bit of a crazy magic science. So I actually think it's kinda on point. Regardless, this is a 3 mana cost, 0/3 wizard that comes with 2 cool abilities. The first one is 0 to activate, which is kind of strange, but it's a concept Magic have had for quite some time. You pay 0 mana, basically meaning you activate it for free. It's still an activated ability, you just don't require it to tap, which means it can activate the same turn it comes into play, and that's gonna be key. We're gonna get to that soon. Add X mana in any combination of blue and red, where X is Vivi's power. Activate only during your turn and only once each turn. And that's usually the restriction that the 0 mana cost activated abilities usually have. So once during your turn you can just boost mana. Like, this is going to be a big mana dork, you could say. A big mana producing commander. That takes us to the secondary ability. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Vivi and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. And that's how the first and second ability combines into one. You're basically boosting its power by casting lots of non-creature spells, and then you activate the 0 ability to gain more mana to cast more spells, naturally turning it into like a storm ramp ritual commander, you could say. So far, only from that, it's kinda decent, but it wouldn't truly be a cEDH concept. Until we mention the very important fact. This is a firebrand archer in the command zone, meaning if you enchant Curiosity on this commander, you suddenly have a Curiosity Storm combo assembled. Curiosity Storm has been around for ages. You usually enchant Curiosity onto Firebrand Archer, or Tandem Lookout and Gutter Snipe. There's a lot of different variations to this. But when you have Curiosity enchanted onto this commander, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you're going to draw 3 cards. Hence the name Curiosity Storm. And if you build your deck correctly, you literally win once this has a Curiosity on it. Imagine casting a Rite of Flame. Pay 1 red, gain 2 red, draw 3 cards, and imagine if the rest of the decks are Rite in Flame, you win the game. When you're playing Storm, you want every card to be a ritual and card draw at the same time. We're achieving this way. And your win con is right there in the command zone. Group Slug. Or just many pings later. You theoretically don't need any finisher whatsoever. You can just cast 40 non-creature spells during your Storm run, and your opponent's gonna be dead. These are all the Iset color Curiosity variants without including all of them. Basically meaning we have a lot of different 1-card combos that require the commander in play. This also solves the lack of black tutor problem. Instead of relying on a lot of tutors, you basically just have a lot of variations of 1-card combos, meaning you just need to draw cards and eventually you will find one of them. But with the legalization of gifts ungiven, that came out a little bit wrong. It sounded like I was legalizing drugs, as that's usually how you say it. Making it sound like Magic the Gathering are cardboard drug dealers and that we are all junkies. You know what? There is some truth to that. However, with the legalization of gifts ungiven or the unban of gifts ungiven, we have gained more tutors. And because we have so many different variations of Iset Curiosities, your gifts ungiven can just find all of these variations. And it doesn't matter which one your opponents give you, you just got it. We also have Intuition, which is also going to help you find and tutor for these combo cards, as well as Gamble. You can be a little bit risky. We also have Imperial Recruiter finding Tandem Lookout, as well as Drifting Phantasm that can find a CMC free card. So we have tutors in the end, meaning that I think this is gonna be quite consistent. Now sure, you need to get your commander into play. With some good mulligans, this is gonna come into play like turn 2, at the worst turn 3. Then you just have the curiosity, or you just need to tutor for it. So turn 3, turn 4 is kinda where you might be storming off and trying to win. And I think that's gonna be able to happen decently quite consistent. That takes us to how we're going to fill our entire deck with Rite of Flames. So obviously we can't do that. And even if we could, we shouldn't. For a very simple reason, you will make your entire deck very commander-centric and very commander-dependent. Don't do that. But we can make a simulation of it. What I mean is turning the entire deck into similar to if we had only Rite of Flames in it, but still have a very functional deck that operates without the commander. The best example of this is an offer you can't refuse. Cast anything. Cast Pact of Negation on it. Then cast an offer you can't refuse on your own Pact of Negation. You're going to counter your own spell and gain 2 treasures with your offer you can't refuse, turning your offer you can't refuse into a ritual. You just paid 1 blue and gained 2 treasures. Then we have Chain of Vapor. First you cast a lot of artifacts like Mox Amber, Mox Opal, Soul Ring, Mana Vault, etc, etc. Then you cast Chain of Vapor on one of your fast mana rocks, and then you start to sacrifice all your lands to return more of your artifacts back to your hand. With this you can recast all of your artifacts and just ritual out, making Chain of Vapor into a ritual, and a lot of triggers with this commander. Then we have free to cast spells like Submerge. In general, anything that is free to cast that has an interaction on it is perfect here. You can even cast your own free to cast counter spells on your own stuff to get triggers. You can, for example, cast a Gitaxian Probe and then Mental Misstep your own Gitaxian Probe. That sounds weird, but it's the correct action in this situation. There are also some upgrades we can put into play, like a Stormkiln Artist, Harmonic Prodigy. If an ability of a shaman or another wizard you control triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Works great with this commander. Runaway Steamkin. Whenever you cast a red spell, if Runaway Steamkin has fewer than 3 +1/+1 counters on it, put that +1/+1 counter on Runaway Steamkin, remove 3 counters and add 3 red mana to your mana pool. Kinda perfect to have during a storm run. Not to mention Bergi, God of Storytelling. Very important to have during a storm run. Harnfellen Horn of Bounty is also pretty amazing in this potential situation. You're going to acquire an enormous amount of cards, like a huge hand size. I normally sit with like 20 cards in my hand, and 50% or more are cards I can't really do anything with because I can't afford them, or they are cards that I don't really want to cast in this stormy situation, so you can discard them into the horn to draw 2 more cards. But the commander's mana ability is just one enormous ritual. Imagine putting this into play, casting Curiosity on it, it grows in power, cast a few spells, suddenly you have like 10 cards, the commander has 5 or 7 power, and you don't have any more mana. Activate, and boom, you have all the mana in the world to just keep on storming on for a few more turns. That takes us to Final Fortune. This extra turn spell will reset the commander, but also untap all of your lands, meaning it's an enormous ritual. And you're gonna wanna have Last Chance and Warrior's Oath too, because of that. But Mons, what about if we don't win the game with our stormy concept? What if there's a rule of law in play? In competitive Magic, nothing ever goes according to plan. We have a pretty good game plan here, honestly really good, but every game won't be going according to plan. Fear not, you have a Voltron commander. And if someone has a pesky rule of law in play, then player removal is the best removal. This commander naturally grows into a big Voltron commander. And like a plan C, you can Voltron your opponents to death. But it's also worth to mention that whenever you cast a spell, you will deal a damage to all of your opponents. So if the game goes like turn 10, you could have naturally killed them all by just manually cast group slug cards. No, sorry, casting spells, triggering your commander and just killing them by many pings later. So I have to say, we are very adaptive. Speaking of adaptive, we naturally have the entire Izzet Underworld Breach package, which doesn't require your commander whatsoever. Underworld Breach, Lions of Diamond, Brain Freeze, done, you won. Today's deck list has been built by Pontus. Link in the description below of this video if you wanna take a look at exactly how Pontus has put it together. And spoilers, he will be playing this next gameplay video we record. Which makes me actually a little bit angry and sad because this is very down to what I play. I like Curiosity Storm has been something I've played a lot in Vile Smasher and Thrasios. Should I play this too? Two Vivis sitting there and just trying to do the same thing? Well, we'll see how that goes. In any case, thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed the video. There's a lot of new Final Fantasy cards, so more deck tech videos and card reviews are coming up. Until then, take care guys, and I'll see you in the next one.